There are three different categories of products that you can sell. You can sell physical products, you can sell services, or you can sell digital products and services. This would be things like software or content or classes and other things like that. And there's no right or wrong between what you pick, but they all have, again, their pros and cons. If we talk about a physical product, I have created physical products before. I created a sock company. And when it comes to physical products, the downfall are now you have to go out and create inventory. Because now you have to invest your money to get product, you have to invest your money to create a product. But the nice thing about a physical product is it can be much more scalable. Because if you get a bunch of orders for your product, what you need is the money to be able to produce the product. And if you can get your manufacturing in order, now you could produce a whole bunch of this product and you can sell 10 times more, 100 times more, 1,000 times more products. Because as you make more money, you can expand your manufacturing capabilities. Now, there are difficulties. There's always growing pains. But generally, as you grow, once you learn how to master the quality control, you will have the ability to scale your product and not really see that downfall in the dip of the quality of your product once you understand how the manufacturing process works. When it comes to something like a service-based business, the nice thing here is your margins are generally much higher. If you're selling accounting services, legal services, consulting services, coaching services, these now have the ability to have much higher profit margins because if you're a DJ, a photographer, whatever, you're selling some sort of service, you're selling your labor. And so your cost is much lower because you don't have a physical cost to create a product. Now, of course, if you're doing something like videography, you got to pay for the cameras. But after you pay for the equipment one time, now you can keep selling your services, keep selling your time, and your profit margins are so much higher. The downfall with a service-based business is scaling can be a whole lot more difficult because sometimes people want to work with a particular person as opposed to a brand. Sometimes people are going to expect a certain quality control. I shouldn't say sometimes. Every time people are going to expect a certain type of quality, but to scale that quality in a service is much more difficult than with a product-based business. So again, you have much higher margins, but the scaling becomes more difficult because people want to work with a person and they want to see that quality, which is much more difficult to maintain once you're dealing with people as opposed to a physical product. Now, the third thing is a digital product. This can be softwares, this can be digital classes, this can be anything really on the internet, content, which again is good, but you have a lot of variables here as well. The reason why it's good is because your profit margins are a whole lot higher. The reason why it's good is because you have the scalability aspect, but the downfall is you also have a lot of volatility. See, if you're selling a physical product and you can get your product into stores where you have a distribution channel where you know that these buyers are going to be buying your product, you kind of have that expectation of how you can expect your sales to look. When it comes to digital products, it can be a lot more difficult depending on how you're marketing your product. Because if you're relying solely on organic, meaning social media, you have a lot of fluctuations. If Instagram changes their algorithm, you could see your sales drop tomorrow or skyrocket tomorrow. If you're running paid advertisements and Facebook changes the rules and they no longer let you advertise your products on their platform, well, now you're shut down. So you have a lot of variables that go on when it comes to selling your product on the internet, which again can be a con, but this really just depends on what it is that you want to do. And there's no right or wrong, but you have to understand now, how are you going to sell your product and understand the different types of products that there are. All of these can work, but the key is you want to make something that's scalable if you want to succeed as a business owner, because you want to create a product that can work without you. This was something that I had to learn as well because I started Minority Mindset as a hobby, but then Minority Mindset started to grow and started investing more time into Minority Mindset and more money was coming from Minority Mindset. But then I realized that Minority Mindset wasn't a business for me because if I stopped making videos, then the channel and the business stops. So yeah, it's making a lot of money. It's a nice lifestyle brand, but it's not a real business. A business is something that I can pull myself out of. I can't just pull myself out of these videos and keep creating videos, right? You need the person to keep creating videos. So I could never stop making videos if this was going to be my whole business. And that's where I really started my focus into Briefs Media, because now we have things like newsletters and other education platforms that can run without me. I don't write our newsletters. I have a team of amazing writers who write the newsletters. And I knew for me, I wanted to build a business. I'm an entrepreneur. That's just the way my brain works. So I wanted to go out and build something. That's why I started putting so much more emphasis, time, and money into Briefs Media, as opposed to just spending all of my time creating content on the Minority Mindset channel. This brings me to number 3, which is understanding how are you going to get customers? And I want to piggyback off of what I just said in number 2, because the internet has changed the game for how you can get customers now. Because every business has 2 things. You have products and customers. You need these 2 things if you want to succeed. You need customers who are going to give you money and need a product to sell them. Without either one of these 2 things, you're going to fail. But the way it worked previously was if you wanted to build a business, you'd have to go out and build a product first, meaning you'd spend a bunch of time and money and research trying to create a product, trying to sell the product, trying to market the product, and then hope that people would actually buy the product. And if people didn't buy the product, now you were out all the time, money, and effort, and you have to start from scratch again if you want to start another company. Now, thanks to the internet, you can do it completely flipped. Now you can build an audience first. You can build your customers first and then ask them what product that they want. And what you'll see is people will come to you saying, I love what you're doing. I love what you're talking about. I love the content that you have. Sell me something. Before I built Briefs Media, I remember I would get a ton of comments of people saying, I want to buy some education from you. Do you have an educational program? Do you have a paid newsletter? Do you have things that I can pay you to access? And that was strange to me because people were leaving comments saying, I want to buy something from you when I didn't have anything to sell like that. And that was kind of the inspiration that, oh, wow, I could go out and launch something now and promote it to my own audience as the beta test, get the initial customers, get the feedback, and if it works, then work to scale that. If it doesn't work, go back to the drawing board and start something else. And so now understanding how are you going to get your customers is so valuable because now on the internet, you can get paid to sell your products. And what I mean by that now is when I come here on my videos and I promote my business, Briefs Media, well, I'm getting paid to promote my brand. What do I mean by that? If I go and I run advertisements on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and we have advertisements for our newsletter, I have to pay money to run those advertisements to get new newsletter readers. But when I talk about my newsletters on my YouTube channel, well, my YouTube channel is already generating revenue. So when I make a video, I'm making money from that video. And then when I talk about my newsletters, well, now I'm making money through the video while I'm getting new newsletter readers to my business. And so this is where now understanding how the internet has changed the game of how you can grow and scale your brand. Now, this can give you, what I'm talking about right now, this organic growth can give you that initial traction. But it's very hard to grow much larger without you now investing into things like paid advertising and other forms of organic advertising outside of you. But this is a great way for you to start to get your beta testing, to get your initial testing, to get your initial feedback, to see if you have a good product, to see if customers like your product. Because people, if you have an audience, will be willing to try your product. You can try it out, start getting a little bit of revenue, and see if it works. And if it works, then you can work to scale that to a broader audience, to people who don't know you, but you have that ability now to kind of lower that hurdle if you can invest some time into building the audience. Now, building the audience is not easy. That takes time, that takes effort, but that creates a whole new asset that you can keep monetizing again and again and again, because if you can build an audience on podcasts, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, well, now, if you try something and it doesn't work, well, you can try something else next month, next year, whenever, however long it takes to build a product. And now you can start asking your audience what their problems are. What problem can you solve for them? And if you can figure out a problem to solve, that can help you find a business to create. If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide on how to start generating passive income for free. All you got to do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.